Alright, I just want to show you guys this. Really why I think the Finn LMG is broken as can be. This is the MP7. It has one of the best hipfire accuracy or hipfire stats outside of handguns because, the smaller the gun, the better the hipfire accuracy is, unless you're a shotgun and then, you have like the entire screen or like a good 30% of your screen covered in what you're going to be hitting them with like several pellets and stuff. So before like normal guns that do not shoot pellets, like SMGs or any of the other kind of gun except for the crossbow, um, this is going to be for SMGs. They're the second in class, or supposed to be second best for hipfire accuracy. So obviously, when you have it like this, it's already extremely tight. This is about the same as if you would be using a handgun. For the MP7, I think the ISO and the CX9 match the same hipfire stats to it. Second best is the Vector, and then all the other ones are third best, and they all kind of fall into their same category. But as you can see, if I'm standing up and moving around, it spreads out the crosshairs a pretty good amount, but it's still fairly tight, so you're still able to get kills about like from here to that door fairly easily, but you will miss a couple shots. But yeah, or if you're moving at least anywhere like that, like if you're standing still, obviously you're gonna be landing a lot more. But if you're like trying to strafe back and forth and hit them, it's gonna be a lot harder to do because it spreads it out that much. All right, so this is SMG level damage, usually about 5 to 6 shots. I believe the MP7 is 6 shots for this, which is similar to almost every single SMG. And let me show you the actual like ADS strafe speed. As you can see, it's actually fairly fast when you actually put on like all the attachments to speed it up, which you would put on for best hipfire accuracy. So it actually helps out a ton. So as you can see, you go fairly fast, for about the same speed as if you're normally walking around, which is really solid. So I'm about to show you guys something even crazier. The Finn LMG is obviously an LMG, so in theory it's supposed to be way, way heavier. I guess the third or second heaviest guns in the game, outside of sniper rifles. I think marksman rifles are kind of a weird in between. Like some of them are way lighter than both of them, so I want to leave marksman rifles being like the third best kind of deal, or just like a little bit slower than the assault rifles. LMGs are being way heavier, but LMG here, the Finn, not only has a chainsaw stock that has the ability of making it to where that it's about the same as the MP7 all throughout with one attachment. You can aim, and if you have a tac laser on, you can actually aim, and you can actually see where you're aiming with this. Now, what's really cool about this, obviously, as you know, with every single assault rifle or every single gun that uses a tac laser, enemies will be able to see this laser if they're really paying attention. But as you can see, this one, like right here, this little laser sight is a little bit thinner than the one shown here. This one's a lot brighter and looks a little bit thicker than the other one. That is actually not really the case when it comes to enemies, though. They won't actually see it like that. That's more for your side, so they're able to see where you're actually aiming at. So if you put this on, you have an actual reticle to see where you're aiming at, and it goes on forever. So as long as you're able to actually see that, then you can use it just fine. Because obviously, when you put on the chainsaw grip or stock there, then you can't really use your scope, obviously. So you want to be using that. So that's actually a really good one. And as you can see, when I'm aiming, I'm actually able to move about the same speed as I would with the MP7. Probably a little bit slower, but it's extremely fast for an LMG. This is insane. Now, the thing is, essentially, you are turning an LMG into having the same stats and better hipfire accuracy. Like as you can see when I move, it does not spread out near as much as MP7. So here's the MP7, spreads out a pretty good amount, and you look at the Finn LMG, barely moves at all. So you can move about the same speed and light people up and strafe back and forth while having the same exact accuracy there. So I am putting on a larger barrel for this, or not a larger barrel, a smaller one. So you can put on a smaller barrel. I'm using the Harrier Adverse specifically. So this one bumps up your rate of fire, but also changes your damage profile. So normally, I believe it's 3 shots to kill an enemy, and that's actually pretty good for like the real low recoil you have, and that's with the normal barrels, which shoot a lot slower, about in the same area where I think the AK-47 shoots at, but I could be wrong there. But this one makes it to where that this gun now shoots at 1,017 rounds per minute, so it lights it up like that to the point to where the actual barrel starts flaming, as you can see there, which is actually a really cool detail. I like that a lot. And yeah, so you're able to have that. It's a really weird gun, so you can have it to where it shoots as fast as an SMG and moves about the same as an SMG, and it has way better hip fire accuracy than an SMG, and it also has better sprint to fire speed than most assault rifles. I don't know about SMGs though, but who knows? Probably might as well be there too. The only downside to this gun is the reload speed. So it is only belt-fed magazine, or only has a belt-fed magazine, so it takes a lot longer to reload. However, you do have 100 rounds right there, so you can go on a pretty good tear before needing the reload. Yeah, so it is definitely a broken gun. And I'll show you guys this as well. So obviously, again, use a smaller barrel. It makes it to where that, like with every single other gun, when you're building it to where it has best hip fire accuracy, you want to go with the smallest one you can. As smaller the gun you can make it, the better the hip fire accuracy. You can use the normal version, or the FTAC VC8 Harrier is the third one down, or third one from the bottom. I'm going to put that one on. Now this will make it to where technically it does have a slower rate of fire, and it does have a slower time to kill than the faster fire rate kind of gun, but I don't know, like the recoil seems a lot better than it. As you can see, it's still fast. I mean, you can still kill people extremely fast with this. So it's a really solid deal there, and I also recommend putting on a compensator. So one thing I do show here, I want to switch off the MP7 since you guys already seen that comparison. But let me go ahead and swap off of this, put back on the LMG. In 1 second. We'll put that all on there. So we'll put on the V8 Harrier, we're going to put on the G28 compensator, and we're going to put on the TAC laser, and then we're going to go to here, switch this off to a handgun, and let's go to the Psychop because this is the best way to show this. Let's do the 5 milliwatt, the 80 round magazine so we can shoot long enough, and then this one, and we're also going to do akimbo. So even though you're aiming down sights, obviously when you guys play this, you know that when you're firing, your gun does, eventually start slowly panning upwards and left to right a little bit for recoil. Obviously shooting from the hip, you don't need to deal with that as much, or it's not near as crazy, but it does still affect your gun, or still actually have a recoil value while you're shooting from the hip. The best way for me to show you this is going to the Psychov and dual wielding these guns. So you're able to actually see this rise. So when I'm shooting from the hip, as you can see in there, that was just me just letting it rip, and it went straight up into the air. So this is the fastest way for me to actually show you that kind of recoil affecting you. So it does technically happen with the fin. As you can see, it's slowly drifting, even at that fire rate. So you do still have recoil when you're shooting from the hip. So muzzle attachments on your gun still actually affect that. So it does make it to where it goes way slower. And there's actually a really cool thing, like, just stack on the top of all of this. You can go with the, the 3 round, or like the 3 shot kill kind of barrel, the slower shooting one. And you can put on stopping power rounds. Now, not only does this speed up your bullet and also increase your damage to where now it's a 2 shot if you can land it. For some reason, the Fin, and the only other gun I actually seen that does this with stopping power rounds is the Uzi, but both of those guns, for some reason, have the complete opposite effect of what stopping rounds normally do to your gun. So normally you guys can put on stopping power rounds, they'll make it to where that your gun's one shot, or it only takes like one less shot to actually kill someone, which is really good if you put it onto way higher power guns like the Odin. Actually, I think they nerfed the Odin to where you can only get one shot headshots now with one shot to the head there instead of normally up to the upper chest. But you can put it on to guns like this, normally like a 3-shot kill, make it to where it's a 2-shot, to where it's extremely fast. And for the Finn and the Uzi, they would actually have a increase of recoil controls, so they're more of an actual laser beam with these hard-hitting stopping power rounds, while every other gun in the game that I know of so far have the normal effect that the stopping power rounds give them. So, you know, you have way stronger velocity, way stronger hitting power or stopping power with the actual stopping power rounds, but it does have a trade-off of giving your gun way more recoil. And I will do a build or worse gun build over this in a little bit with that kind of stat, but uh, so it makes it to where guns hit way harder, they're way better for ranges. It turns it into a super weapon, but it does come at the cost of recoil control. This thing does not have that. It's complete opposite. Now, luckily, for anyone that's on the receiving end of this, you only get about 30 rounds in this gun for stopping power rounds before it actually ends, as you can see. So, there's that. Yeah, so we have that going on there. And that's actually a really solid deal. Like I said, it also works with the Uzi, so if I switch off of this and go to the Uzi, you guys will see this. Let me put on the Uzi just to show you guys. So we put that on, let's do the compensator, just kind of weigh it down with everything that can help it out for long ranges. Let's do sleight of hand, why not? And that one gets rid of recoil control, so we're not doing that. So let's put on the 50 round mag. And we'll die real quick. So normally the Uzi, if you guys haven't already known, the Uzi is the new MP5 of Modern Warfare. It does technically still have a slower time to kill, but it is way more mobile than the MP5 and has way longer ranges, way better handling speeds. Like it all around it is the new and improved MP5, even though it does have a smaller or longer time to kill. With the MP5, for it to actually hit that kind of mark, it has to be real close, which is about 12 meters. This thing with the actual conversion kit goes up to a good like 30 meters or so. So the Uzi is essentially a SMG assault rifle, and it does shoot slower, so it actually feels good and stuff for recoil. So now this is with the stopping power rounds, with everything that I could actually know it. I lie. We can probably swap off sleight of hand, go with the rubberized grip tape. Do this on here, get the stopping power rounds to load in. Now obviously your stopping power rounds won't charge as fast. Again, that's just kind of making it to where it's more available. I have it to where it's set 10 times recharge rate. And now this is a recoil plot for the Uzi, so you guys can see how much of a laser beam this is. Just another reason to go with the Uzi, because when you put this thing on, it is now a 2-tap gun. So it is an absolute monster. The MP5 has nothing on this gun when it comes to stopping power rounds with it. See how little that moved? This is an absolute laser beam, okay? So an SMG, alright, so this is another like broken gun. So originally, you know, it was for defend, but an SMG that has about a 30-meter mark, probably a little bit less for the actual range. So around the same ranges as an assault rifle. Slow fire rate to help out with recoil and actual, you know, visibility with the sights. And you know, with stopping power rounds, not only you get a 2-shot kill potential to it, so now you actually beat out the MP5 in time to kill, and actually it just works so dang well with that. Now you also have even more increased recoil control with the solving power rounds to turn this thing into an absolute monster. Now obviously it will not go through the entire mag. I believe by default it's, what, 32 rounds? I forgot, it's either 30 or 32. Yeah, 32 rounds. So you only have 32 rounds in it. That's more than enough to get several kills if it only takes two shots to actually kill them. So this is also a really solid gun to use. A lot of people do not use it. It is really the new MP5, but people don't really mess around with it a whole lot for some odd reason. I love it. But yeah, mostly for the Finn LMG, I want to show this. It is really the SMG handling largest, or one of the largest guns in the entire game, and those are two really broken guns that I wanted to go over. I made a video last time going over similar details for the Finn, so you guys already see it and you already knew how broken it was. But I also want to go over that for the Uzi as well, with all this stuff, making it to where it's an actual powerhouse. So what I'm running for this, you don't actually need to run this. I'm not even using all attachments, but this is all just kind of layered down for recoil control, mostly vertical. So muzzle, I'm using the G28 compensator, seems to be the best for that. This barrel, you do need to do a challenge to unlock this barrel. I forgot what it was. It's been forever now. Or you can buy a blueprint to get it for free, I think. But it is the FSS Carbine Pro. You get damage range, one of the best actually. Bullet velocity and a massive amount of recoil control with a gun that's already really good with that. Cons being aim down sight speed and movement speed, but this is one of the fastest SMGs in the game, so I mean you can hit this thing hard with several attachments and this still is really good for handling. Ranger foregrip, it comes with recoil control and aiming stability for the most amount of range. It actually matches the amount of accuracy for the Merc foregrip, but the Merc foregrip is more for hipfire accuracy, so if you want to run that you can, if you don't want to worry about aiming stability as much. And obviously the rear grip, I'm running rubberized grip tape, so obviously all this stuff here is going to help you out in recoil control. Now how I would run it is with the FSS Carbine Pro, the monolithic suppressor to stay off the radar, any kind of sight if you want to for just stretching out for longer ranges. I run the Commando foregrip because it already has one of the best mobilities in the game. And I'll run the 41 AE 32 round magazine combined with the best barrel and the monolithic. You got yourself a massive range. And then for the stock, I don't know, like you probably put on something there or sleight of hand so you can reload faster. And that's how I would run it. But again, one of the best guns in the entire game, or two of the best guns in the entire game, and they're really underrated. Hey look, this is just normal without all the things that help out recoil. And that's just me without controlling it. And that was me with controlling it. And then you just put on sucking power rounds and now you're just brain dead controlling it. So there you go. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Two really good guns, definitely underrated. They are absolutely broken. New and improved gun that a lot of people don't really know about. I've seen a bunch of people that go over, like, you know, the top 10 best guns, and there is like Call of Duty. What's the guy named, like Chaos or whatever? I'm sure everyone knows him if you're a Call of Duty watcher. You know, you play Call of Duty for a pretty good amount, know what, you know, like all the more relevant stuff is, but he usually does like rankings of top 10 guns or top best guns for each Call of Duty game. And on the top, he did the M4 assault rifle, which is still pretty good, but it's definitely outclassed by several guns. Like the AS Val, that one's definitely a laser beam if you could build it right. The AN94 is definitely one of the best ones. And the CX, not the CX9, but the, what is it? The Ram 7 is a really good one. The Grau 556 is also a really good one, which is almost the M4A1, but actually has a way better recoil to that. So the CR56 AMAX is a little bit slower, but it still hits like a dang truck. So it's like a better AK in a sense. But yeah, so the M4A1 is absolutely outclassed by several assault rifles. And the MP5 is no longer the absolute monster that it was at launch, because obviously with a bunch of guns like this, especially the CX9, and the Uzi, which is actually at the top now when it comes to best guns. Second best, or actually third best, I think, would be the Striker 45. And I went over build for that if you guys want to see how that thing is third best, or if not second. But yeah, I wanted to go over that. So definitely the two meta guns in this game at the time are now outclassed by way better guns. And it's actually really cool to say, because normally people are going to go back to that, but the whole like Chaos guy ranked those two, like the MP5 and M4A1, as being the best. You can obviously tell how long that guy actually been playing. He's barely even touched the game since. He probably had like, gameplay from when it first came out that he would be showing. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to say that because a lot of people still think those guns are still top, even though they do have technically, theoretically, some of the best times to kill. But it doesn't mean anything if you're absolute trash and you only have like a one-trick pony kind of deal. So they're not really versatile in anything. Uzi beats that in every single way. And you also got yourself a Finn that is way more mobile than any other LMG in the game, while still having a 3-shot kill, 2-shot if you put on 7 power rounds, and it's a lot like the Uzi at that point. And it moves around at the same speed of an SMG, so essentially it's the Uzi as an LMG, if you really think about it. So it's a really solid deal. So yeah, so two really top guns, especially with 7 power rounds. You can absolutely turn them into monsters, and both of them are bugged as can be. Or not really bugged. The Finn is more bugged than anything else. The Uzi, not too bad. It just has a weird stopping power round benefit to it. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see y'all in the next one.